Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, as it should be a no shock to absolutely anybody out there, Agatha All Along's ratings are continuing to be absolutely abysmal when it comes to the Nielsen ratings. Unfortunately, yes, we are still talking about this show because the Nielsen ratings have a little bit of a buffer. They take a little while to actually come out and get released. And ladies and gentlemen, if anybody thought things were going to get any better after the bump from the Evans-Peter episode, well, guess what? Just as a lot of people predicted out there, everybody tuned out and turned it off, and nobody is watching Agatha All Along. It is turning into an absolute abysmal hot garbage steaming pile of a dumpster fire and cost the Walt Disney Company hundreds of millions of dollars. And guess what? Marvel did it to themselves, and it's exactly what they deserve. And now we're here to report, document the disastrous dumpster fire and make shame great again around here, boys and girls, because that's exactly what Agatha, Disney, Marvel, and everybody involved in this process absolutely deserves. So from CosmicBook.News and our dear sweet Matt McGloin, Marvel's Agatha disappears from Nielsen ratings again. Oh, color us shocked there, ladies and gentlemen. So we're going to check out this article from CosmicBook.News, getting all the juicy details and see exactly abysmally how bad these numbers actually are at current rate. But before we do, if you do enjoy our content, hit that like button, share with all your friends, and subscribe or follow if you have not already, boys and girls, because we are grinding, we are growing, and I could not do that without every single one of you. Also, leave us a comment in the section down below. Do you even care about Agatha All Along anymore? Or is it just fun to watch Marvel's disastrous dumpster fire burn down? Or are you one of the very few people out there that actually tuned in and you want to roast me for laughing and ridiculing this stupid ass show? Let us know what you think about all that in the comment section down below. If you'd like to support the channel, please check out the links in the description as well. All right. Exactly as I predicted, says Matt, the Nielsen ratings for Agatha have dropped following the bump from the previous episode, which was likely a result of fans tuning in to watch the surprise cameo of X-Men actor Evan Peters, who returned as Ralph Boner from WandaVision. And don't even get me started on that stupid gag. We all got so excited. We all got it. That was so much fun. Oh, they're merging the universes. They're bringing in the X-Men, yada, 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 all for it to turn into a dick joke. I hate the second half of WandaVision. I loved that show right from the beginning, and it's one of them situations why this is why I continue to cover this Agatha show, because I loved WandaVision in the beginning. I loved the idea. I love the style. Wanda's one of my favorite characters. I love the sorcerers. I love the magic. I love all that kind of stuff inside of Marvel Universe, and they literally did nothing more than try to turn her into a villain at the end of the show and had this cameo turn into nothing more than a dick joke, and I could not stand it. I literally, like so many other fans out there, got so irritated. I saw so many videos raging over the fact that they literally wasted Evan Peters' appearance in the MCU as nothing more than a dick joke. It was frustrating. It was irritating. And that's one of the reasons why I love watching the WandaVision show burn down to the ground, because guess what? It's from the exact same people that ruined the WandaVision show as well. However, now that Evan Peters doesn't appear in the next episode, we see the ratings have dropped back down again. The Nielsen ratings for the week of Agatha episode 7 have been released, which, similar to episode 4, are a no-show on the Nielsen charts. Yes, boys and girls, once again, it gets beat by absolutely everything. I mean, literally, look at this list. The Lincoln Lawyer, Love is Blind, Beauty in Black. Ever heard of that? Tulsa King. Now that one I know about. I hear really good things about that one. The Great British Baking Show. The Great British Baking Show beat a Marvel television series. Outer Banks, Only Murders in the Building, Territory, Monster, the Lyle and Alec Mendez story, which has been out for literal weeks at this point. And this is the Zodiac, coming in at 379 million minutes watched, which of course, obviously, Agatha has to be way below all of that. Fans, and this is, I thought was stupid. I haven't watched the Agatha show, so this picture alone surprised me. I was like, really? You did a Wicked Witch of the West reference from Oz? Really? From the Wizard of Oz? Really? That's where you went with this? Talk about desperate. So the ratings went from the series high featuring Evan Peters from episode 6 of 410 to not making the Nielsen charts with episode 7. And yeah, series high. The only thing that got anybody to watch that episode is fans of the X-Men series under Fox out there to see Evan Peters return, to see if it would actually end up in anything. And of course, nothing. It didn't. It just turned into another boner joke. And so of course, everybody dipped. Netflix's The Zodiac comes in at 10 with 379. So obviously that means Agatha's ratings for episode 7 are lower than that. Also, I've been pointing out the low ratings Agatha suffers from are pretty much on par with Ms. Marvel, the lowest rated weekly MCU show on Disney Plus that also saw episodes disappear from the Nielsen charts. The Agatha ratings also happen to be going the opposite direction than what WandaVision did, which saw the ratings increase with every episode. And like I said, this was something that had a lot of good word of mouth. A lot of us out there were enjoying the WandaVision series, unlike the fact that everybody everybody ended up getting completely into. WandaVision was my breaking point for Marvel, right? That was when I stopped watching Marvel. That's when I stopped going to the movies. That's when I stopped getting excited about anything, was because of how abysmally bad that show was handled with the ending. And I was like, done. I was broken at that point. I was like, no, I'm finished. I'm not even going to bother with you guys' stuff anymore because of what you did to one of my favorite characters in the MCU. So screw off, piss off. And apparently a lot of other fans have completely and totally agreed, because since WandaVision, we have seen a severe, drastic decline, and not only in movies, but also in the television shows and their ratings. Everything gets worse than the last project practically. And it's the same thing with the movies. Outside of Deadpool and Wolverine, Marvel hasn't had an actual success at the box office since literally Avengers Endgame at that point. And it's going to be one of those things where it's only going to be like that going forward. Trust me, Captain Falcon and the Black America out there is not going to go very well at all. That one's going to be a disastrous dumpster fire. And I mean, do we even need to talk about the other one that's coming out as well? I mean, this is just abysmally bad. Things are not in a good state over there. The only witch fan is Scarlet Witch. Ah, ha, 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 ha. I think it's safe to say Marvel audience hasn't showed up for these types of shows. Disney and Marvel recently dumped She-Hulk from the official Disney artwork and replaced She-Hulk with the billion-dollar Deadpool. Duh, makes sense. Up next for Disney Plus from the MCU is Deadpool Born Again, which, exactly as I told you guys the months before, the Shield trade sites has been retooled to make it more in line with the fan favorite next series. And of course, he actually means Daredevil Born Again. He just mistyped on this one. But yes, Daredevil Born Again is something that we covered on this channel, on our other channel, on our older channels that got nuked from YouTube and all that kind of stuff. We talked about this in the past. It's one of them situations where we knew the edict from Kevin Feige was make it like Netflix. And that's the only reason why I think the future of Marvel might have any chance at all, because clearly they have fired all of the activists. We heard about that rumor going about all that kind of stuff, and it looks like it turns out to be true, because everything we've heard about this from the sense is actually going back to a fan-centric era where people actually enjoy these kind of things, and we're making Marvel male again. Crazy shocker out there, ladies and gentlemen. It's not just a t-shirt, it actually worked. Disney Plus also has 2 woke shows, Wonder Man and Ironheart in the works, which could very well have ratings in the gutter like Agatha as well. Don't blame the fans, blame the bozos at Marvel making the decisions to put out crappy content nobody wants to watch. The message has been loud and clear, and he is 100% right on that one. And why would fans want to tune in? It's just been one disappointment after another ever since WandaVision. There really hasn't been anything outside of Loki that has actually gotten fans excited for. And even then, I didn't even bother with Loki because it was one of them situations where outside of Tom Hiddleston, I heard other than that, the show was complete and total crap and it was boring as garbage. But people only tuned in because of him. And guess what? You're not going to get that with Agatha. Agatha is like a who? I mean, literally, you got a character that was introduced in WandaVision that nobody cared about, and it turned out she wasn't the villain after all. So literally, it was abysmal bait and switch kind of nonsense. And guess what? Fans aren't tuning in. They are very much aware of the garbage you are selling, and they don't want any part of it. And it's exactly as Marvel deserves. They have done this to themselves. Kevin Feige allowed woke activists to take over his production studio, to take over his place out there, to take over his franchises, and completely and totally drown it in a bunch of nonsense BS that nobody wants. And guess what? Fans have awoken to that. They are very aware of this kind of nonsense, and they are not going to put up with it. So when you introduce a series about Agatha All Along with a bunch of witches that was clearly made for like 40-year-old wine moms, or actually more than likely 40-year-old people with their cat moms that have no actual children and have no family in any way, shape, or form, guess what? It turns into a disastrous dumpster fire. You made it for an audience that doesn't exist. The modern audience doesn't exist, and it never has, and it never will. And now you are finding that out. It has cost you billions of dollars, tens of billions of dollars, if not hundreds of billions of dollars at this point, in either lost revenue or just flat out absolute losses. And guess what, Kevin Feige? You were the dumbass that allowed all of this to happen, and now you get exactly what you deserve. Agatha All Along is a failure, and Disney did it to themselves.